Hi everyone, welcome back. Tyler! I don't know what he was doing. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel and welcome to this new series that I'm doing that is me, how do I write a book. I'm gonna give myself about a month to write this one. Excuse me, Kiko. I have the dogs in here and I knew they'd fuck me up. Oh, then the phone. So this is a video that I've been thinking about doing for a while, but I just never had the right timing to do it. But look at us now. I have wanted to do this for a while, but I didn't know if you guys would be into it. Overwhelmingly on Instagram, you do want to know about it. By the way, if you don't know who I am, I'm Anne and I'm obviously an author and follow me on Instagram. I will be doing a little bit of updates on there as well, but this is primarily going to be following the process of how I write a book. I'm not going to go too far into like who I am because I do have a lot of videos about that, and also like my very first video I ever uploaded was like how I started self-publishing and all that. But I will say that I'm an indie author, self-published, I write romance, and if you want to know more, there's a whole like 40-minute long video all about that. So this is more going to be like from literally start to finish. I have written like the tiniest little bit because most of the books that I have like upcoming, they have different folders on my computer where I've written like one sentence. I literally have some books that are next in a series that only have one sentence, but it's just like I had to write it right then and there. So most of my books that I do have coming up, they have at least like one sentence written, and they are like lurking on folders all over my computer. But so this one is a new Sons of Templar book. If you guys haven't read my Sons of Templar series, I'm pretty sure most of you have, but we have, it's like all back here. I can't pull it out because I can't be bothered. So this one is going to be Lizzie and Ranger's story, which is already really intense. Spoiler alert, spoiler alert. If you haven't read the series, just pause or something. You're going to get a spoiler. So this is, Lizzie was introduced in the very first book in Making the Cut. Her and Ranger, they had like a romance throughout the books until he died in the latest battle that the Sons of Templar had. So this is a book that I was really nervous. I really wanted to write it, but I didn't know how you guys would like react because it's like not a traditional romance. Like I wanted to write about Lizzie and Ranger. I wanted to go how they met, like their whole relationship. I wanted to go into that. We obviously know he died, so I was like, how am I going to do this? But I will answer like a few questions that a lot of people have. I have got the idea for a huge chunk of the story in my mind, in the noggin right now. I don't usually plot, but I actually did write a little list of what the elements are that I could see happening in the story, and I already know where I'm going to go with it. So the first half of the story is going to center on Lizzie and Ranger. They meet at high school, they have kids, they get married, and she is like the ultimate old lady. She has been in the Sons of Templar MC like from the beginning. She's one of the first old ladies, apart from Evie, obviously. Side note, I am going to do Steg and Evie kind of like, but like in the past maybe, or something like that. But so I have shied away from doing this for multiple reasons, because I just didn't think I was ready emotionally, and because I didn't know whether I was ready to like go back to the Sons of Templar, which I am. Amber, California, represent. But so now I'm ready. So what I will say is every book that I write has a different process. This isn't the process that I'm going to have for future books, and this isn't the process I had for past books, and I am going to try and be as honest as I can the way that I do things. For example, I'm not looking like this when I write. I don't have face full of makeup, but I'm going to try and do at least like the intro to each little vlog video with a bit of makeup on. I actually did just post on my Instagram what you guys want to see. If you guys want like a weekly update, or if you want it all at the end, and everyone apart from like I think 16% said they want it weekly. So I'm going to try my best to do it weekly, one video a week of how I'm going to go. So this is day 1. We are here starting this book. So I might insert some clips into like me sitting at my desk or sitting at the couch writing, but I will say the things I do to prepare to start a book, they're not like anything that I'm sure a lot of other authors do. I'm sure there are a lot of other authors that outline the entire book before they even start writing it, and awesome, that's so cool. That's just not what I do. Mine is usually chapter 1 has like, maybe I do a whole chapter 1, maybe I even do a chapter 2. Most of the time I'll do a chapter 1, then I'll do a chapter 21, then I'll go back and I'll go forward. Each book is different. I've said this 1,000 times, but I do already know where this is going to go. It's going to be like Lizzie is starting out in high school. She meets Ranger, their high school sweethearts, and then it is almost going to be like him patching into the Sons of Templar and living the life. So this is going to be a way different experience for you Sons of Templar lovers, and I'm so excited. But it is also not a traditional romance story, and me as someone who's been in the industry for a good amount of time, what is it, like 4 years now, I know that this is going to be really hardline for me to dance, because me included, we want like a happy ever after, and this is going to be happy ever after, but there is going to be a non-happy ever after in the middle, because obviously Ranger dies. So that's a warning just for my readers. But for my budding authors out there, I quickly want to say there is no right way to write a book. So if you watch the series and you're like, I don't do it that way, my way's wrong, or your way's wrong, there is no right way or wrong way to write a book. If you start writing and at the end of 1 month, 2 months, 6 months, a year, 5 years, if you at the end of that, if you have a book, then my friend, you have done it the right way. So that's my quick disclaimer. There is no right or wrong way to write something. I will say quickly, if you want to buy any book to kind of get you starting, if you get you started and be like, how the fuck am I going to write it? On Writing by Stephen King. Beyond that, the only thing I'm going to say to you is read. That is when my writing suffers, when I don't read, okay? So I've been reading a lot lately, so I'm feeling good. I just finished a book. I'm like diving into another one. But I will say, I wish I was like Nora Roberts and got up and like did all this stuff and then wrote from like 8 till 5. Unfortunately, that is not really how my little crazy self works. But I am trying out a new routine, which kind of goes in well with this little series. I am trying to get up 7-ish, 7 to 7:30 in the morning. 7 to 7:30 in the morning, and then make coffee, read like a personal development book. At the moment it's Atomic Habits. Do yoga, walk the dogs, exercise, shower and all that. Maybe put on makeup if I want to feel pretty. Maybe just like put on comfy clothes, and then get right into writing. Now, I'm not going to tell you that I'm an author that sits at the laptop for 5 or 8 hours a day. That used to be me. I used to be much more structured than I am now, because I actually had to be. When I wrote, I think, the first 4 or 5 Sons of Templar books, I was a full-time university student, so I actually had to structure my days. Like, I would get up at 6 o'clock in the morning, write for an hour. 6 o'clock in the morning, I'd write for an hour, then I'd go to the gym, then I'd go to class, and then I would come back, and then I might even go to the gym again. That was not a healthy point in my life. And then I would write until 2 o'clock in the morning, start all over again. So that was, maybe that could be more of a like hustle and make me look better to you guys if I was doing that, but that's just not the reality of how I do it now. That wasn't working for my mental health. So this is definitely going to be the reality of how I write a book and how I can do it in a month. Most of the time I write a book in a month. That's not a hard and fast rule. Sometimes it's way shorter than that. Other times it's way longer. I would say 2 months is like my ceiling, unless it's a book that I'm coming back to. But if I've announced a book, if I've got it up for pre-order, then I have to have it done. My mum always asks me, and people who kind of know what indie authors are, they're like, how do you have a deadline? Like, don't you make your own deadlines? But I will say, if you're thinking of being an indie author, you can't just be like, oh yeah, I'll probably have this finished by like this date. Because that's just, you're not going to hold yourself accountable. Most of us, if you're really good, you might, but most people are not going to hold themselves accountable. Like, that's why I do things like book an editor. But in the indie industry, maybe you don't have the deadline from a traditional publisher, but you have to do things like book an editor. And if you want a good editor, they're usually booked up way in advance. And most editors are not very flexible because, you know, this is their job. They have to be like, I've got this author who says her book's going to be, his or hers book's going to be 90k. So I know how long it's going to take me to edit this 90k book. So then I can block out this chunk of time, and then for the next author. So they work on a structure, and you're letting them down if you don't meet the deadline. I will say there have been a few times where I haven't been able to meet a deadline and it's made me sick. Luckily, it hasn't happened very often, and the times it have, it's just been fate where my editor was like, oh, well, I had a cancellation, so it all worked out. But it's not like that all the time. Another way I give myself like a deadline is to put it up for pre-order. Now, I'm not going to say this is the right thing to do because it's dangerous, because if you don't submit a pre-order, like by the time you've scheduled it, Amazon puts you in trouble. But it works for me. Again, I work best on a deadline. I might not have the best structure in the world, but I need to know that there is a time that this needs to be done by. I will say I do procrastinate a lot, but I always get shit done. Like, even if it's the night before and I'm still going, I always get it done. So for me, I have to have a deadline. I can't be like, oh yeah, this book needs to be finished in the next like 3 months, because then I won't do it. So that is what I'm going to do. So maybe I'll try and do some screen recording or something, but I will make a date, figure out a release date, and I'll talk to you about it today. So that is something that is ideal to do if you are maybe more of a seasoned author. If you want to pick a release date and if you want to be more structured, be like, but make it realistic. Don't be like, I'm releasing this book in 2 weeks. That's not going to be how it works. But pick a release date that's a good amount of time after your editing date, so you've got time to proofread, go through all of that, and make sure it's like, if you have a publicist or someone, check with your publicist and see if there aren't a lot of releases on that day, so your book doesn't get bogged down. There's a lot to think about beyond just writing the book, especially if you're an indie author like me. So that is what I want to say. I don't just sit down on my laptop and write. Sometimes I do that, but there are a lot of things I have to take into consideration. Like, for example, I haven't booked my cover for this year, so I need to look up some images and moods that I feel like I want for the book, and I have to have a title. Now, a lot of the times my book might be 3/4 done and I don't have a title, but usually the title speaks to me. I don't sit down with nothing written and be like, here's the title of my book. That just doesn't work for me. It works for a lot of other authors, awesome, but the title has to speak to me. It has to be a really big embodiment of my book. I will say I have thought of titles before when I already know what's going to happen, and I have got a list of titles that I'm tossing around, so I'm going to like record the list that I've got and how I'm playing with them, because I really want this to be a really in-depth look at how I go about things, but and also a realistic way of being like, I have so much more that it goes into it when you're an indie author. If you're an indie author already, you're like, I fucking know this, just hurry up and show me a process so I can judge you. If you're not, and maybe you're just starting out, I'm going to make this as realistic as I can to show you what really goes into writing a book beyond the writing process, which I am going to show you, but I'm going to show you me looking on Pinterest for what I want for a cover, me brainstorming cover idea, title ideas, me trying to write a blurb, and me doing a lot of the things that I do and all authors do that maybe you guys don't know about, or maybe you do, and maybe
Snapchat audio.
My mum's calling me. I'm filming a video for my YouTube about my writing process. So I'm gonna start. Today is my first day writing, and I'm gonna start filming how I get from start to finish of writing a book.
Are you filming it?
Yes, I'm filming it.
Right now?
Yes, I just wanted to quickly put in that my mum is always... I'm not filming it now, I've turned it off. Okay guys, that's one part of what goes into writing a book, is I call my mum all the time. She was just worried about me because I just told her I had a really bad anxiety attack yesterday, and she was like, why didn't you call me? So, That is another thing. I have crazy anxiety and I'm not smiling about it because it's not a big deal. It's just what I do. So that is definitely something that I also want to touch on because I get really, excuse me, I get really anxious when I'm not writing, but then I don't write because I'm anxious. And I know that is the way for a lot of creative people. Like, mental health issues are not just for creative people, but I will say that it just does seem to be more prevalent because we put so much pressure on ourselves and we are such perfectionists, especially in the indie community where all of the responsibilities on your shoulders. So always calling me mum. That's the moral of the story. But yeah, I think I covered everything that I want to cover. I was just telling my mum about it. She's like, oh, I would quite like to watch that because I don't really know what goes into it. So I'm going to, as I said, do this weekly. So this is going to be over the course of the week. I don't know if I'll come back and do like a check-in with you guys or not. I don't know how I'm going to end them. It's going to be like a lot of learning as I go. But if you guys like these vlog type things, then I will continue them. Without further ado, I want to quickly go into me not even writing yet. I am going to look at titles and look at dates where I want to release, and depending on how I do that, I will film it for you. But let's get into writing this book in a month. Okay, you guys, so here we are with the Word document. As I said, I haven't got a title yet. I have like been brainstorming some title ideas, but as I said earlier, it usually doesn't come to me until the book has progressed a lot more than it is. So today, day 1, we are at 218 words, and I wrote a little prologue ages and ages ago when I first got the idea for this. And then I have 2 lines on chapter 1 because, as I said, it starts off with Lizzie and Ranger. And look at my dirty laptop, don't look at it. It starts off with Lizzie and Ranger in high school. So she says, so the first line is, can I carry my books for you? I looked up and lost my breath. Now, this may or may not say like this. It's just a jumping off point for me. I might decide that there is a different kind of beginning that has more punch to it, but as it is, and then these 2 lines are just something that came to me. But yeah, only 218 words. So let's get this started off today, the 3rd, I think it is, and I will let you know how many words I've written after this. Okay, so this is a little bit different, maybe than the last time you saw me. I'm having some skin issues, but we're not going to talk about that because this is what I look like the majority of the time when I'm writing. I'm not going to try and bullshit you guys. So you just watched a little time lapse of, I think it's like the first almost 1,000 words I just wrote, and I think I would have done a wee voiceover with telling you guys what I was up to, but it is 5 p.m. and it is time for an essential part of the writing process. Did you guess what it was? Wine. Of course. Today's bottle is Rare Earth, which you can get from Trader Joe's Cabernet Sauvignon for $8. And hopefully this dog isn't going to bark right now. It will say I like to have a glass of wine every night. Maybe 2. It just loosens me up. I can't really write drinking a bunch because my brain doesn't work that way, but like a couple of glasses just definitely loosens me up. So I don't really know if I'm going to do 5,000 today. I would like to, but I'll see how I go. I also did just get an email from my cover designer, said she's going to start working on this straight after the project she's finishing, which is awesome. I just need to figure out a cover and then hear back from my editor. I hope this isn't really shaky. Hear back from my editor and figure out a release date, which I'm thinking October or November. update. Taylor, you're not in it, don't worry. On writing, day 1, Taylor don't. Taylor don't. Taylor don't. Fucking hell. Stop! Update. Got almost 5,000 words down, which I set as my goal. Time for wine and Real Housewives reunion. Okay, you guys, hi. Hopefully this is going to go in week 1 of this little writing vlog. I am wearing a full face of makeup because I did just film a video. This isn't me normally, especially the way things are right now. The last time you saw me was the first day I started filming this, and I was like motivated and like, yes, like real hyped up. And that was it Friday? Today's Monday. So I technically, in keeping with what I said on the video, I should be about 15,000 words in. I am about 10, maybe a little bit less into the video. There was a lot going on this weekend. I already said this in a video, but I can't tell you guys what it is. There will be a video on it anyway. And hopefully. Anyway, so I wanted to give you guys a check-in. I will be doing a little bit more casual videos because this is really, really not the reality of what writing a book is like. I do not look like this. I am not, like, this isn't like a tidy little office or anything. So just please, if you're an author, if you're a budding author and don't feel like this is what it actually is like, it's really not. So I wanted to check in. I am planning, what is the time right now? What is the fucking time? So it's 3 p.m. right now and I have not written a word. This is really the norm for me. I hope that it's not going to be with this series. I hope that I'm going to be able to show you guys a little bit more of a structure because I do. I have written books that have more of a structure, like in the process before, like Birds of Paradise, for example. I wrote that like with really, really, really strict structure. Like I would get up and I'd be there from 8 until whenever my word count was finished, and sometimes longer. And it was like that also with Chaos Remains, a lot of other books. At the start of the Sons of 10 Plus series, it wasn't like that. I think I've already talked about this before, but I quickly will touch on it. I was full time at university, also working in retail. So there wasn't any opportunity for me to have structure. It was literally whenever I could get it in. Sometimes it was 6 o'clock in the morning, 1 a.m., whatever. So I'm sure there's a lot of you, maybe not a lot of you are watching, but I'm sure there are some of you watching, especially if you are just starting out, that you're moonlighting this. So, and you're probably like, fuck you, what are you complaining about? You have all day to do this. And I promise you I know how you feel. So just before you hate me. So yeah, it is like this for me so often. I have so many goals at the beginning of the day. I'm like, right, I'm going to wake up at 7. I'm going to do all this stuff. And then I'm going to be at my laptop by 9. And then it's like 3 p.m. and I'm like, well, what have I done today? So I will say that my life as an author, is obviously a full-time author. It isn't, especially as self-published author, it isn't always going to be that I get to dedicate all my time to writing and writing only. I obviously have like signed paperback orders and invoices and things I have to send away. I have to organize, as I said, covers, teasers, blurbs. I've got 2 other releases coming up, so I should be getting Renaissance of Stars, which will have already released by now, I think. No, maybe not. I should be getting that back for my proofreader, so I have to get that proofed. I have to format that for paperback. Then I have to get a paperback cover, talk to my cover designer about the paperback cover, and then I have another book that's at the editor right now that is probably due toward the end of this week that I have to go through the edits of. So I just want to let you guys know that hopefully you're going to get to a place where either you're self-published or even traditionally published, which is awesome. And I just want to let you know the realities of it. I do get like, I used to get very like sensitive about my friends and family who weren't even meaning this in a mean way, but they would be like, kind of, I know I love you, mum, if you're watching this, but she used to like, I used to stay with her in between moving to London and finishing uni, and she would like get home and be like, oh, so what did Juju say? And I like, she didn't even mean it as a way like, any way but a supportive and nice way, but I like just took it like so defensively like, what does she think? I've just been sitting around doing nothing all day. I was like, what do you think I've been doing? So it is really hard to communicate that there is like a different perspective of what writers and authors in particular, like a lot of people have this vision of them like tapping away at the laptop like for a minute and then they just get to do nothing. It's really not like that, especially if you're self-published. There's so much stuff that goes into it that I never thought, and a lot of stuff like that organizational stuff that I fail at. So I just wanted to give you guys the check-in. It is late in the day. As I said, I've got to get signed books packaged up. I have to edit the video I just filmed to get it up for tonight. Although YouTube isn't like making me money or anything like that, it is something that is really, really fun for me to connect with you guys, do something different, and maybe one day it might make me money. I don't know. I really do want to diversify myself because I have these fears. I feel like I'm in a diary booth right now, but I definitely have these fears, which I'm sure a lot of authors do, of like, what if no one ever reads my books again, and what am I going to do? Like, I have to have like a backup plan, and I do have a degree, but my degree is in journalism, and we all know what journalism is like right now. Obviously, I've always thought about like I could do columns or something like that, but I definitely have this fear that really gets me out of like my groove, and my groove should always be just write and just forget about the rest. It's so easy to say, but it's really not easy to do, especially with so many responsibilities that I have now. Like, I'm not just a teenager and well, I wasn't even a teenager, I was like early 20s, but I'm not just in uni doing this writing thing and be like, oh, I've got some money, I can go shopping. Like, I was at that point, I didn't think it would be a job, so I didn't have the same pressures on me. So I was just writing, but now I'm like, this is my job and this has to pay my bills, which is unfortunately going to affect how you write. I really wanted to be honest with you guys about that. I still put so much passion and heart and soul into my books, and that is the reason why I don't write as many in a year as I used to, because it is harder for me to like really get to an authentic place writing. So I have really long periods where I technically could force myself to write, and I'm sure there's going to be people that do force themselves and really get good stuff out. But there are periods where I'm like, oh, I can't write right now because I'm so stressed about it. And then I get so stressed that I can't write because I know I need to. This is my job. I need to pay my bills. Like, this is my future. So it's a really, really tough tightrope to walk. And I just really wanted to put this into the first video to let you guys know that the truth of really what it does look like if you make it in the self-publishing world, which I don't really feel like I've made it. There are so many other authors doing so much better than me, and I will say that it does. That's another thing that's on my mind. I'm like, I believe that I have so much more in me, and I really have big dreams, and I definitely am like so impatient. And Mum will tell you this, like, I've been at this for like 5 years, and it's been my job for 5 years, like my full-time job. Like, I've earned money off it from pretty much the start. A lot of authors cannot say that, and I know how lucky I am, so I don't want this to sound like I'm spoiled and I want more than I have. Like, I have the most amazing readers and all of that, and I love, love, love where I am right now, and I'm so proud of what I have and what I've done, but I definitely also am a perfectionist, a lazy perfectionist. So it is a lot. I'm like, well, what can I do to be better? How can I get to the next level? And all of that. So all of these thoughts are also coming into play when I'm trying to write. So I just wanted to let you guys know that I am really into the story. I definitely have gotten some bouts of inspiration, and I have really, really gotten into it. As I said I think I said in the intro, my writing process is very disjointed. So this particular book, the Sons of Templar book, is like 2 parts. So it's Lizzie and Ranger's story. If you have, not Lizzie and Ranger's, is it? Now, I wasn't planning on writing this. So many people, I should be in a comfier chair. This was meant to be just a check-in. So I did an update in my reader group. Maybe I'll put a screenshot or something. And I said, you guys are working on the latest Sons of Templar book. Like, who do you think it is? And so many people said Wyatt. And they're like, please let it be Wyatt. Please let it be Wyatt. And I love that you guys are really connected to this character who I didn't even consider giving a book until now. I love that, but I'm like, oh my god, it's not what you guys want. Like, what am I going to do? So I definitely am worried that you guys are going to be disappointed, but also because this is a book where I'm doing part 1 is her and Ranger, how they met, everything that goes through the years, really real look at their marriage. Part 2 is like the part 2 of her life, where she gets the happy ever after that we thought she had. So it's such a different format, and especially for my readers and probably for a lot of romance readers. So I'm taking a big risk here, not just like with my readers, but you know, like financially. This series is my best-selling series, and it has a certain vibe to them, and not a formula. I don't want to say a formula, but you guys who have read it will know that you kind of know what to expect, and you know there's going to be the start and there's going to be conflict and all of that. Maybe they break up for a while, but at the end there's always going to be the happy ever after. So this is going to be so different, and it is a huge risk for me to take with this series, with these characters. Maybe it's not smart financially. Maybe it's more smart financially to write Wire's book, and it definitely is something that you need to think about. You have to kind of dance between what is smart financially and what is good for your art. And I'm not even very good at that, because I really am going to write Wire's book and I'm really excited about it, but Lizzie is what's calling to me first, and it would be so inauthentic of me to try and push the book just because I know that you guys want him. So I wanted to let you guys know that as well. That's definitely something that goes into my writing process, that does kind of like a voice in my head that's like really does affect sometimes when I write. I'm like, I really want to stay true to myself and my craft first and foremost. Like, I respect you guys too much to give you something that I've done for the wrong reasons. So that's quickly what I wanted to say. I probably should get my shit together and actually get into editing this fucking video that I just did. Then I have to send stuff out. Then I have to hopefully go through proofreads, and I might not even start writing until like way later on tonight. I will check back in probably just on my phone. Hopefully by now you will have seen like time lapses I took on my phone. Hopefully they're okay and good quality and stuff. I tried to do it with the camera, but I'm just really shocking at it. I will probably in the next few videos figure out how to do like more of a vlogging style with the camera so that quality's a little better. But we're just learning in this one. So I will check in with you guys and let you know how many words I've written. I'm going to do some research on some designs I want, and also the title. I have kind of toyed around with some different title ideas, so I will show you that as well. But we'll see you soon. Okay, so we're here at my office, and it's been I think a week since I started filming for this, and it hasn't been my most productive week. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I had really big goals for like the start of this video and be like, yes, I'm going to be like goals, I'm gonna like be freaking author game on top of the world, but I'm just gonna be real with you guys, she's not. I'm gonna figure out if I can like insert some of the things I've been doing that are like, if you guys don't know, you have to do things like promo. I'm just doing this on my phone, by the way, because I can't be fucked setting up the camera, but you have to do things like promo for, you know, your new series or your new book, sorry, to say like this is what's coming up. So I did do that. Like I did a little teaser with like the prologue, like an unedited version of the prologue, and I did like just a little image. So I did kind of announce that. I still haven't got a title. I have been playing around with a few, so maybe I'll talk to you guys about a title. As I said, I don't have a title until like usually halfway through the book, so that's not what's going to happen here, nor a blurb or a release date. I was thinking, when was I thinking? So my editing date is the 15th of October. Gosh, my skin on my face is like a whole different color. My editing date is 15th of October, and it's going to take around 2 weeks, depending on how long the book is. So I'm thinking early November to mid-November. You know, you want to have enough time to go over the edits and then get them proofread, and then have arcs go out, and you know, just make sure that everything is good, like there's no hiccups in that respect. So you want to give yourself some breathing room at the same time as like, this may be my last book of the year, so I just want to make sure it's perfect. I don't know, we'll see. I think it will be. I don't know if I'll be able to get anything else out before then. lot going on in our lives, hence me not being ideal with writing this week. But I will say that's just how it goes sometimes. I did stay up late and get a good amount done, so I'm at, like, I should have, ideally, if I was doing 5,000 words a day within a week, I should have had, like, is that like 40? That's maths, I don't do that. But I should be a really good spot right now, but I'm at just over 10, so it's not always what we want. But I will say that I still will probably get this book finished by the end of the month, if not early October. I have to get it done by the 15th of October, but it'll definitely be done by the end of the month. I just work in a crazy way. I wanted to be like more like productive, and then this series would make me look way better than I am, but we're being real. So I don't know, I hope I have like enough footage and have compiled enough to make this like interesting for you guys. I wanted it to be a little bit more step by step, as in like here is me going through cover images and stuff. I'm just gonna be honest, I haven't got them there yet, and I do want to do that, but I also don't want to like push myself into doing, which is going to take more time away from writing. So that'll probably happen next week, because I do have to get them to my designer. I do want to do a cover reveal and all of that. So once I get the title, I'll talk to you guys about the title, and I'll probably do like the title reveal like next week, and then I'll show you like what my vibe is for the cover. So yeah, thanks for coming along, and I hope you watch next week.